I remember standing in front of my classroom, listening to a teenage boy talking about the Titanic just before the dismissal bell rang. During the first minute, I realized that this young biology student was pretty well informed on the ship's history as well as its construction, as he discussed the misconceptions that Titanic was ripped from bow to stern by the iceberg which caused her destruction. Being a science teacher and having been an experienced researcher, I wondered as to what degree of expertise this teen by the name of William Brower possessed. I remembered what he was saying and looked into the history of the ship. William B.J. Brower was right, but there was more to his story and knowledge that I would later discover. He not only had knowledge of the great ship, but I sensed a true passion. From this point, I began to listen to him more intently and encourage his research. I became his supporter, despite other teachers viewing his passion as a waste of time, or even labeling him strange, or more so, somewhat of a mental case. Every passion starts somewhere. For some, it is a moment of enjoyment. To others, it is of growth and development. From a classroom in 1992, I watched and read of William Brower's growth and development of a passion that began at the age of 5, sitting in a movie theater with his grandfather, watching Raise the Titanic. William graduated, and I lost track of him until 1997, when I read in the local paper of a man they nicknamed Titanic Man. Brower was still following his passion, dressing in character of a passenger aboard the Titanic, lecturing audiences at local bookstores. His research had brought him in touch with experts on the Titanic, and his knowledge was growing in quantum leaps, which he in turn shared with all those who would listen. The lectures grew into a full-fledged travelling museum, and the audiences grew. He told me once that the Titanic chooses people to continue her memory, and during a recent conversation with him, I brought up a stunning point from this book, which made Mr. Brower stop and take notice as a smile spread across his face. I said, "BJ, did you realize the subconscious parallel in your manuscript?" His expression became inquisitive. I continued, "You described the man taking the picture of the Titanic as it pulled out of the dock as being a memorable moment. Did you write a similar passage as you watched your grandfather pulling out of your driveway for the last time?" I have come to many conclusions surrounding his passion and dedication, and hope it furthers my writing as well. Great talent is often looked upon as being abnormal by those who cannot comprehend the passion, dedication, and research. They will instead indulge themselves on the final product for the price of a painting, book, or electronic download onto their tablet computers. More often than not, we also do not realize that, in Mr. Brower's case, tradition carried out in honor rather than pomp and circumstance reflects the highest level of respect for those who perished in the icy Atlantic on April 15th, 1912. By these observations, I have seen Brower in many phases. I have seen his rise. I have seen his abrupt stagnations due to personal setbacks and tragedy. More importantly, I have seen him triumph time and time again. There are always setbacks in life, but true courage, love, and passion will always emerge victorious. He has met with descendants of the great ship, read their letters, viewed the photographs, been the recipient of authentic memorabilia, and even had the honor of having afternoon tea with the last living survivor of the Titanic disaster, Melvina Dean, before she heard "Nearer, My God, to Thee" for the last time as it was played for her in 2009. William Brower continues to expand and share his knowledge of the Titanic in his uniquely creative fashion, still growing and still holding the interest of thousands, including mine. My respect and friendship of Mr. Brower has grown tenfold during the past years, And just 8 hours ago, I discovered the words to end this tribute to William B.J. Brower. 100 years later, Titanic, her passengers, and her crew live on in the mind and words of a young boy sitting in a movie theatre whose passion was born. He and his passion grew up together and continue to live on 2 miles above the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. Dr. Glenn A. Townsend, Ph.D.